Wayne, you've got a couple of young daughters yourself. For young people, it can be a daunting time navigating school and their career pathways. Do you have any advice for young people in terms of getting started?
Yeah, well, it's a pretty high pressure environment these days. A lot of expectation on kids, and we are not all built the same. We don't all think the same way. We certainly don't all learn the same way. There's lots of different learning styles, and you get some kids who thrive on academia and study and are driven, to get the best possible ATAR score to get themselves into university, and you get other kids that are probably like me that found school really difficult. It was a bit of a grind to get to school every day and get through exams and suffer with anxiety and things like that, getting through the exams.
So you weren't a star student?
Not at all. Not at all. Maybe a C grade student, maybe average at best.
Wow.
Found it pretty challenging. So I'd say first things first, we're not all built the same way, but that doesn't have to define who you are. I think you got to we all find our swim lane in life. Find something that you're interested and passionate in and get after it, and you'll build in confidence and, get that momentum wheel going that I talked about earlier on. I think in our industry, at least, there's so many pathways. So if you are someone that was like me that found it difficult at school, you don't need to be an A-grade student to get into this industry in certain roles. I mean, I started as a delivery driver, but there's so many roles, whether it's in a workshop or it's in a distribution centre or it's in a parts business. I mean, I could just go on with so many different examples, hundreds of examples. On the other end of the scale, you might be a brilliant student and you're really academic and you've gone on and you've got a graduate diploma or a double degree and you're a law or psychology student and you can find your way into the corporate office and work in the legal department of a big corporate, or you could be in HR, hundreds of roles in HR and safety and marketing and merchandise. It's just the supply chain. There's roles galore across this industry, but it caters for all different types of people. So I'd not let school define who you think you are and put a limit on your potential.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world, and you're a great case of that, from C grades to the C-suite, right?
Yeah. Well, I didn't know that at the time, but as I've said a few times, is training up, doing the best you could every day, putting in the 1%ers, and then investing in learning and being curious about your learning journey all the way along. I think you can't go far wrong.
If you could talk to Wayne in 1989, what would you say to him?
I think I'd say, don't die wondering. Have a red hot crack. Give it your best shot. And most importantly, do what you say you're going to do, because that builds credibility and trust. I talk a lot about that. I think it's part of building your own brand and what you stand for. So that'd be keeping it pretty simple. But don't die wondering, have a crack and have a bit of fun along the way as well.
You say don't die wondering. I mean, what's the underlying message in that? People tend to be in a role or in a position in life and they've got these ambitions that are sitting there, but they don't take action. What do you think? What do you think drives that? Do you think fear of failure?
Maybe a little bit of risk aversion. Relocating from one town to another, that's tough because you got to up and move and you got to create new friendships, and it's all a bit of unknown. I'd say to you, for every single move I've made, yes, they've all been tough, but I've always been better for it afterwards. We've had learning and experience along the way that we wouldn't have otherwise had. Taking a career step from a role you're really comfortable in and enjoying to another career step is really uncomfortable because you get outside of your comfort zone, you struggle for a little while to learn new skills. But again, 6 months later, you probably look back on it and say that wasn't that hard at all, and you've grown as an individual. But I think it's a risk-taking element, your risk appetite, and having a go at something new and different.
It's all risky. Even staying still is a risky decision to make.
100%. I think that's just part of who I am. I think it's just whatever it is that comes my way. If I think it was going to be good for my development and growth, good for my career, and good for my family, then I'd give it a crack.